So I thought I would do a little follow-up to this turnbuckle project that I have. One of the difficulties I found was this die I made, of course, was made with a tap that I purchased. And the tap that I purchased did the tapping on the nut. So we have two holes that are exactly the same, except this one needs to make the thing that goes into the hole that's tapped. And so there's no clearance between those two. There's no tolerances that are different between those two. So that means the nuts that I was making are extremely tight. In fact, this one is in there, but I mean, I can't even turn it by hand. I basically have to clamp this in a vise and then use a wrench to get it to turn. So that's been frustrating me. I'm certainly you could make that work, but it's not a good solution. And one of the ways I was trying to solve that was by putting some lapping paste, it's like some valve grinding paste, onto the threads, and then just trying to work it back and forth. In fact, that's how these even fit at all, because at first they weren't, and I kind of wore them down a little bit. So I was trying to figure out, how do I solve this problem? And of course, one solution would be to go out and buy a commercially made die that would have that tolerance baked into it. But short of that, I thought, what can I do? And so the solution I came up with was actually making an adjustable die. So I had made two of these in the first place, so I took one of them and I essentially split the die. You can see there's a saw kerf right there. And then I drilled and tapped a hole all the way through there so that basically I could tighten up on it a little bit. So that seems to have done the trick. Now the biggest challenge is just trying to thread the existing nuts into that, and it's actually a lot trickier than you would imagine to get them to thread on just so, because if you kind of misalign them right off the bat, it kind of buggers up the threads a little bit, and then once you bugger them up a little bit, it just doesn't want to thread on properly. So I got to very carefully try and gingerly get them to bite on the first couple turns, and then once I've got that, then I can put the wrench to it here. And I got to remember to go in the right direction. So this is the counterclockwise winding one, so I have to, let's see, that's on, so I got to go the opposite way to get this to bite. Yeah, I can feel is it biting properly? Yep, good. This tap handle kind of, or this die handle kind of bobbles around on here. It doesn't give you the best. It doesn't kind of seat itself nicely, so it's hard to judge whether or not you got the die sitting on there properly. So once I've managed to re-thread it, this is just taking the tiniest bit off, but it's making all the difference in the world. So just wind it on down till I bottom out. Yeah, right about there. Bring it off. And then the trick is to try to, I've got nothing that marks which side of this is the left hand, which is the right hand side. So once you find that, and now I can thread that on by hand, and a moment ago I had to use a wrench to even get this off. So there's my fix. I'm glad I found that, because as I was playing around with trying to wind these onto the wrench was really beating up the nut and wasn't looking so good, so that was bothering me. So so they're going to need a little bit of cleanup to fix that bit of damage I created with the wrench. I can pretty much just do that with, you know, taking some sandpaper and just working each of the flats. This is not a flat surface to work on by any means, but or a couple strokes with a file, we can clean them right up. I wanted to just do a recap on that, and mostly because I really feel like I didn't solve the problem the first time. Partially solved it, but not entirely, and that was really bothering me. And so I'm glad I came up with this solution, because somebody has come along and asked me to make some more of these nuts, or some more of these tensioners for a different banjo, which is kind of cool.